You gave me almost, and I held it like a promise. I watched your silence and made it into music. You watched mine and called it distance. I learned to walk away in inches. You stayed by not stepping forward. I wanted to hate you, but hating you meant I'd have to admit you were never mine. And that would hurt much more, much worse than this. Can't remember how to say your name, let alone count all the freckles on your face. Distant memory I used to know, but I guess that's just the way things go. Hey guys, what the hell was that? What the hell was that? Let's get ready for the deepest deep dive into my fun 5-month situationship that I may have or not wasted my life on. You guys be the judge. I hope everyone brought snacks because this is gonna be a long session. I did bring snacks. It's a cheat day. I have yogurt, golden Oreos, a banana, and where's my healthy green drink. So let's get right into it. Yeah, so that was also so fuck ass. This started way back in the fall of this year. I was like, hey, there's a hiking trip coming up. We should totally go. And I did. We went hiking. It was fun. Guess what? This is when I saw Goose for the first time. For anyone that is new, Goose was my 5-month situationship. Well, no. But give me a breather because I just put on a performance. So, we met, we didn't really meet. Well, actually, kind of. I saw him because he was blonde and he was tall and he was mysterious. And I'm like, who the hell is it? And actually, we had a mutual friend, a girl that moved away. So I'm like, wait, you guys know? And they're like, yes, we know her. And I'm like, okay, awesome. And then we talked. And then Loki, I just prolonged the conversation to talk to him. And our first connection was me giving him, a piece of, those veggie sticks. Because I had, 2 bags. Because it was a 3-day hiking trip. And I was like, I need to get sustenance. So, and, well, yes, I was like, who is this? I'd, do some eye tag, hey, you see me, I see you. But I was so confused because he was always with girls, during the whole hiking trip. So I'm like, is this Huz or does he play for the same team? Let's find out. So I was like, I'm gonna back away now. This isn't for Carl to pounce on yet. This isn't my challenge to go into. So, second semester starts. This is starting of January or February. And, well, I was like, wow, this is so awesome. I was going to be in sports pro, which is basically working out, right? And so I was like, okay, let's get this giddy going. Because I was so locked in, back then, I'd go to the gym at 4 a.m. Speaking of going to the gym at 4 a.m., when I came into the classroom, this was a YN moment during Sports Pro. I was late. There were no seats left, except a seat beside Mr. going to the gym at 4 a.m. So I'm like, hey, can I have a seat here? But there was only one chair. So I'm like, I didn't even know what to do. Like, I was gonna grab a chair or something, but I didn't. And I was like, hey, can I have a seat here? He gives up his chair and he makes me sit on it. And he grabs his own. And I'm like, oh, well, thank you. And I'm like, you're that guy that goes to the gym at 4 a.m. And he's like, yeah, you too. Do you still go? And I'm like, well, because this is the point where I start getting, like, unlocked. And, like, it was starting to... And then, really, the whole thing about Goose was the thing that snowballed it. Like, avalanched it down. Now I'm like, well, like, y'all, like... Yeah. So I was so unlocked. But I was like, yeah, well... And then he had a tattoo on his leg, and I'm like, how do you have a tattoo on your leg? Like, you're literally... And then we were talking, and I'm like, wait, like, I'm like drawing, but like I'm doing it a bit too close to him so he can see the drawing. And he was like, wait, you can draw? And I'm like, yeah, I can draw. And it was so fuck ass. Anyways, I was only one day in that class, and well, I left that class because I'm like, one of my friends was going to music, and he was gonna leave after this year. So I'm like, I need to go do music maybe. But then I tried foods first for some reason, because I'm like, I did foods last year, so I'm like, wait, like 6, 7. But yes, I did try foods. Didn't like it because the students were kind of like fuck ass. So I went to music. Guess who I meet in music? I'm late again, and it happens again, a YN moment where I had to sit by this person. Take a guess. 1, 2, 3. Yes, it was Goose. So I'm like, it is time to pounce. Like, it is my moment to pounce. So I'm like, hey, can I sit here? And I mean, I don't know what I expected. Did I expect chivalry to be good in all men? Well, no. I had to grab a seat of my own. He agreed, but it was like, okay, like, so you're not gonna do like a backflip because I'm sitting next to you. But yes, this is where I'm like, I need to pounce now because this is a message from something higher than me. So, yes, also, another crazy thing that made me, like, delusionize more into this was we were getting chosen random bands, and I got into a band with my ex, Goose, and a new character. Let's call her Ribbon. Ribbon. I think you guys have met Ribbon before, which is kind of funny. But, you know what? Yeah. So we are all in the same band, and then we were doing covers. Everyone in that band, when I first got into it, I was like, I'm so outclassed because this is my first year in music, and Ribbon could sing and do guitar. Goose could do guitar. He's been like playing it for like years, and my ex could play the piano and guitar. So I'm like, y'all, hey guys, like, I couldn't, well, like, singing was the only thing I can do that was not half bad, but even then it was kind of half bad, because I'm just like fucking around, like, let's just get it. Like, my only experience was like crying to Olivia Rodrigo on repeat because of the amount of times I thought I had a heartbreak, but well, penny nickel dot. So that happened for 1 month. Our assigned group did it, and there were moments. I started getting closer with Goose. I made a friendship because I liked Goose. So maybe that foreshadows something. But I was like, yes, wow. Though at the beginning, it was kind of like, there was kind of something in the undercurrents. Me and Ribbon are close. Well, we kind of like re-sparked together because we had like this whole thing back in 2020, like 2020 as in like and I oops like stuff like that. But we rekindled because of that, and we were in the same group and class. So I'm like, oh hey, like hey, and it kind of seemed like there was kind of like a rivalry between one like fruit, like, but yeah, so well, that kept going on, and February comes around. I'm gonna kill myself. before that, the events were kind of like, I actually kind of saw Goose and Ribbon getting closer, more friends than strangers. So I'm like, maybe I'm dead. Like, maybe I'm dead, because I saw them having a snap score and I saw them walking together. So I'm like, I'm dead. I'm so dead. Like, take it. Take it. You're the winner. You're the winner. But one moment, one moment where I'm playing the guitar, and then he comes over and I'm like playing it, and I'm like, I'm new, because I barely play guitar. Like, I've had a guitar for like 3 years, and I've played it for like 2 weeks. So I'm playing it, and he's like, no, 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 you have to do this. And then he goes behind me, and he starts playing it, and then he's like moving and I'm like, oh, oh, um, yes. So I was like, wow, I really need to. And also at that same week, I got his snap and I got his number, and I don't know what I was expecting from that, but like, he's dry as fuck online. So, yeah, maybe, like, I would say that to my younger self, but it has passed now. That is a lesson learned, and that is not something I can change, or I don't think he is even caring to change about. So I don't fucking care. Um, February 14th comes around, and I'm a romantic. I bake strawberry cheesecake cookies, and I'm like, this is it. I am gonna go confess. 2 of them were heart-shaped cookies. One, in case he says yes. One, in case he says no. I was gonna eat the other one if he says no too. Um, so the whole day I was like, oh my gosh, this is so fuck ass. Like, I need to do it. When can I do it? I couldn't do it in music class because we were like doing some sort of like activity. And so I'm like, so when is gonna be the time? Also, I had, yikes, yikes. We had this whole kind of like macho making thing where the people that want to join, like, put their name, put their wants, interests, stuff like that, and then like the student school board kind of matches people, like gives you a list of people you're matched with or least likely to match with. Right, guess who I got for number one? Right, Goose. Guess who also gets number one? Ribbon. And you had different sections for boys and girls. Well, guess who got me for number one? Goose. So I was like, oh my god, oh my god. But at this time, me and Goose were still like kind of like strangers, friends, 6, 7. But like, no, like, I felt like they were, Ribbon and Goose were closer at the time. So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna maybe kill myself. So I text Goose in the middle of the day, and I'm like, hey, are you busy? Can I meet you later? Because I want to show you something really cool. I was gonna confess. Um, guess what happens? Left on red. Ah, that is so exciting. That is so exciting. That was so. So on the ride home, I kind of listened to Olivia Rodrigo. I'm like, 'cause you didn't mean what you wrote in that song about me. But it was never that deep. Also, I'm kind of glad I didn't. No, I'm very glad that I didn't get to confess that day, because that was just not the time. Like, we were barely like crossing friends. Like, we'd talk, but he wouldn't even say hi in the hallway, and I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with you? You know what I mean? So you can kind of see where this is going. Yeah, Goose was quiet, reserved. Me and Ribbon would talk about him, and we'd be like, I don't know, he's like a shell that we have to crack open. I feel like we're starting to get closer, but I don't know. I don't know about. Also, more evidence that I think Ribbon did like Goose, even if she said no. There's one time where I was like, I kind of have a crush on someone. This is like March, like after the whole February fuck ass thing, and I was like kind of moving on, because I'm like, okay, he doesn't want me because he literally left me in red. Um, well, 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 he was like guessing. She guessed everyone. Every single one. Except Goose. She was literally like, is it someone I know? Is it someone in our band? And I'm like, there's 4 people in our band. I don't know who else you're guessing. Like, and she was like, what? What? And I'm like, yes. Like, I don't know. Anyways, March comes, nothing too fuck-ass happens. Everything is written in my trusty journal. I'm saving everyone the time, because if I were to talk about every single thing that has happened and has led me to some sort of like breakdown, well, that would just make this go on forever, and I'm saving myself and yourself the time. And I was supposed to sleep, but yes, so March comes along, nothing too crazy. We do start making our own bands because the assignment is basically done, and we do not need to be like in our assigned bands anymore with our assigned songs. So that was fun. I finally got into the band with my friend, and well, yeah, things just come and go, and April comes. This is the fuck ass season. The fuck ass. Because April was badminton season for the school. And guess who does badminton? Me. I do badminton. Look at this. So, guess who also does badminton? Goose. Guess who also does badminton? Ribbon. So, yes, that was so exciting. But it was this one time we were on a trip to another town, somewhere kind of far. But this was the time where I was like feeling confident, feeling like adrenaline. I had 5 hours of sleep, so I was kind of like drunk. But I always have 5 hours of sleep, kind of, so I'm kind of always drunk. But wow, this was I decided that day, I was like, no, it's time to start talking to him casually, not like some sort of like stranger with like automated like conversations, like hi, hello, how are you, you know, stuff like that. So I'm like, I'm gonna start talking to him as if I actually wanted him as a friend and nothing more. So I did. That was like the first day where I started play fighting with him, and I also saw him cry. So I'm like, oh, I didn't even know you could cry. But I was like, that I was crazy that day. I was like, I sat beside him in the bleachers. We were in 2 different schools because I was in like mixed doubles. Like my partner was a girl, and then he was in doubles and he was with a guy, and he was like in different schools, but I could just walk back and forth. So in between my games, I'd come and sit by him and we'd talk. And then it wasn't looking too swell. He was losing, so I'm like, hey, I wasn't gonna say cheer up, because if someone said like, it's okay, it's not okay if you're losing, okay? Like, shut your bitch ass up. Like, it's not okay. I like to say you'll get it next time, because it's like, let's hope for the best. But it's like, it's not okay that you lost, because that just means like, you know, like, that's not too good. So then I was like, just do your best. Win for me. I go back to my own games. I do lose because they were so fuck ass strong, and it's my first year in mixed. And so I was like, okay, awesome, awesome, awesome. I go back, Goose wins his game. The game that I asked for him to win. And he was like, I won. You asked me to win and I won. And I'm like, well, yes. But I like played fight him because I was like, I'm not gonna be so fuck ass. I'm not gonna be like, oh, so you want me. But no. Back to my own games. I lose, but I'm fighting for bronze. Guess who comes to watch me before I come play? Goose does. Goose says, hey, are you gonna win? And I'm like, I always win. That's the only option. He's like, win for me. You guys know that is so fuck ass. Like, you guys know that is so fuck ass, right? So I'm like, okay, I will. And then I did. I won. It was like 21-3, and then 21-5. Like, I went on that. I was like, I feel so, and then I was hearing cheering, and I'm like, yes, like, this is the life. Anyways, on the ride home, we went to McDonald's, And well, what the fuck happened? Because me and Goose hugged. Mm, so, we were ordering McDonald Minecraft meals because that was still back then, and I miss Minecraft meals. Like, please give them back. Like, they were so, so good. We were talking, and then he was like, "You did so good," and then he held my arms. And I'm like, "Oh." And so I like leaned in for a hug, and I for like a moment I was like, wait, maybe he wasn't reaching, but then he did. He did it, and then he hugged me, and I'm like, y'all better not play like that. Y'all better not play like that. So we did hug, and I was just like I was trying to keep like my attention away from the fact that we hugged, and like we've never done anything like that before. To like, oh wait, Grimace egg Minecraft skin. And then we started talking, and I'm like, yeah, he was like hoping to get a Grimace egg by getting a kid's meal, and I'm like, you're not gonna get, you have to get like the bigger meals. And he's like, wait, oh, like the bigger meals, and like I'll do everything I have to get the Grimace egg. And I'm like, oh, if only you like me like that. And then the whole time, wait, oh, has my dog been out the whole time? Wait, it's just been like, get the fuck out. Okay. Um, he was like telling everyone, literally everyone in the West. He was like, wait, Carl needs to unbox first before we unbox. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? And I unbox, and then I sat behind him in the bus home. So I was just like talking, and I was like, like what friends do, like playing with his hair, like, and he was smiling, and I was like, and this was the first time he said goodbye first. He said goodnight first. He's like, good night, Carl. I'm like, oh, good night. Good night. Good night. Yeah, so you guys can probably now see how fuck ass this whole thing is. Because Goose was not the one to initiate. Never was. Wouldn't say good morning, wouldn't do anything. I thought he just like hated everyone and me. But no, that's exactly how he was. So I took that personally whenever I didn't get a good bye after class, or like a good, like, good morning. No, I took that personally, but I eventually learned how to not take that personally because that is so fuck ass. And so, well, it just it just snowballed from there. Next tournament, we hugged again after I won, and won by default because there was only two teams. So I was going like up to like provs. Anyways, provs is like states if you're into America. It's like just like a higher like tournaments with like better people. But I got there by default. So we hugged in public again, like in this crowded room. And then I was like, he did say win for me again, and I did. But well, I technically lost because there was only one competitor, and well, you know what? Yeah, so, and then the next day we hugged again before like we just, there was just like so many hugs, and I'm like, also that was like the first day where we got our first picture, and I was like so psyched, and I kept recalling back. I was like, this is April, 2 months ago, I was literally like thinking of like confessing, so, yeah. What the hell was that? Uh, should we fast forward? Let's fast forward. Well, I lose at the tournament, and I wanted to cry because he was like, you better win for me, and I didn't win, and I'm like, okay. But then up to this point, like, I just kept going combo for combo. I was like, hey, here's a cookie, and it's a heart-shaped cookie, or a chocolate, and it's a heart-shaped chocolate, and I'd be like, would you ever be down to hang out? He'd always say no, and I took that personally as well. I was like, so you hate me, I guess you hate me. But no, says he was busy, and I'm like, I don't even care about you anyways, like, whatever, if you're busy, like, the fuck does that even mean? So, yes, May comes. May. Or, no, literally, no, well, yes, May comes. It is track season. Guess who is in track because I love individual sports? Me. So, guess who's also in track? Goose. And Goose's friends. I'm kind of like I kind of want to prolong the April part because April part was like the most like ever, like there was hugs. We had like a snap streak, like that doesn't even matter because he wouldn't even like converse on Snap or anything online. We would walk in the hallways together. We have a handshake that like interlocks fingers. Is that is that not fuck ass? Like like that oh my goodness. And he would just it was from me like sorting him out from the crowd and like looking for him and talking to him and initiating convos to being like a 50-50 Loki. Like it was he started talking to me and he started looking for me in the hallways even if I wasn't like, you know, sometimes I'd play a game where I'd be like and he'd look at me and then you can just see him coming from the other side of the hallway and I'm like, oh my goodness, he's like a golden retriever and I'm gonna kill myself because he's literally blonde. But well, yes, I'm turning red. What the hell? I didn't know I could turn red. I thought I could like turn maroon. But May comes, it's track season. It starts becoming really fuck ass, like a really, really fuck ass. I'm talking we've been on our third hard cookie. I've been back to back, like trying to make sense of it all. We had this one concert, me and my band of 7 people. We played for like an old folks town and Goose was looking dapper. We were supposed to there'd be times and this is common where I'd like try to get like a little like flirt in, but then he'd deflect it. So I'm like, "Oh, so you hate me?" Cuz we were like he pulled a chair beside me and he was like, "So, what are we going to do for like the matching bands?" And then none of them really wanted to match. They thought it was too cringy and I was like, "Hey, I'll match with you. What are you gonna wear?" And he was like, "Never mind." And I'm like, "Okay, airball, like airball." So we're coming and he's late and I'm mad at him and I'm like, I think I'm gonna kill this guy. But he comes and he looks very dapper. I've never seen him wear anything like that. We sit together while watching other people perform and then we were gonna get to perform. Wow, that was like I'm talking like we did not need to be sitting shoulder to shoulder, leg to leg. Like we really did not need to be sitting that close because it was individual chairs and there were spaces. It was not like there was like 50 people in that and we just did not. So, you know, things happen. The thing where it's like you point at someone, something, and then you kind of like pull their chin. I did that 2 times. I'm fuck ass. He introduced me to his dad. Um, we were playing footsies, and everything I did, it's like he'd mirror it. Like, I'd look, and then I just, from my peripheral view, I could see him look to where I was going. Or if I, like, poke something, he would poke it too. Just stuff like that. And I could not look at him from this close. Because I was like, oh my god, do not look at me right now. Like, I feel so chopped right now. And then, like, well, he's like this close to my face. And like I cannot like and he's like smiling and I'm like, don't look at me right now. Don't look at and that's how he would talk and he had blue eyes. So I'm like don't don't do that. Like you're trying to kill me. So I'm like but I'd actually said that. I'm like, okay, if you say stuff like that, you're gonna make me blush. And then he just laughed. So I'm like and then he said something so fuck ass. So fuck ass. He was like, we should do this next year. And I'm like, what? Like the band? And I'm like, and he's like, yeah, like for Valentine's. And I'm like, Valentine's already happened. And then he was like, no, no, like next year. And I'm like, yes, like the band. And he's like, no, like this. And I'm like, what, what the hell are you talking about? Like, what do you mean this? But I was like, before he answered, I was like, well, I can't because I'm moving next year. And he's like, what? there's been a couple times where I like joke that I'm moving or graduating, and he's like, "What?" Like and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm moving to the big city. Like, this is not the life for me." And he's like, Ribbon was like, "You better," because Ribbon was like, I was here, Goose was here, and then Ribbon was here, and he's like, "No, no, no, he's kidding. He's not actually." And he's like, "You better be." And I'm like, "If you want me, just say so." Like, what is wrong with you? Don't just say stuff like that. So I'm like, I think he wants me now. And then we sat by when it was like time for supper because they treated us. I sat by with him, took a bunch of cute pictures, got complimented and glazed and that whole thing. Yes, if you guys ever want to perform like some sort of like music or something, do it at an old folks home, you will get glazed, your ego will be boosted. So, yes, wow, what a night. What a night. And that was the first time me and Ribbon, because me and Goose hugged before, like, he left. And Ribbon was like, "What? What's that?" And I'm like, "Well, yeah, it's just like that now." Like, I didn't want to be, like, bitchy, but, like, we are, like, friends. But I was just like, I also see you as a rival. So I'm like, hey, competition closed. Competition closed. Okay. Holy airball. Holy airball. Let's move on from that. But like, yeah. Just imagine stuff like that would happen. Um, because Goose doesn't really initiate conversations, I would I would base off what I think he feels based on what he does. He would it was kind of cute because I just be like, I'm here, and then suddenly he puts down his guitar and he's just beside me, just staring, just there, like fidgeting and this stuff around me. So I'm like, hey, and then he gets into the conversation, and I'm like, does he not know how to talk or what? Like, what? And I was trying to figure out for so long, and I've been like ranting to ChatGPT for like months because I couldn't I couldn't rely on what he had to say because every time I'd like do something more than like just friendly, he would like either shut down or just like not really vibe. But then he would do it, and I'm like, oh, oh. And the thing is, I think I made it pretty obvious that it was like, it's always been like kind of more than friends because like heart shaped cookies. Like, hey, are you down to hang out? Like, what? What? But, well, yes, he was still dry. There was barely any change. And so I just kept having to read the things that I saw. And, things would happen. He would zip me up into a corset. Maybe we could talk about that another time. And we would tease each other, poke each other, more hugs. There was one time I got home. No, I got to school, but my nose was bleeding and blood was all over my shirt. And he was like, "Is that your blood?" And I'm like, what kind of question is that? And he's like, "Are you okay?" And I'm like, "Yes, I am okay." And then he had to go because he had some sort of sport. I won't specify, but then we hugged. I ran out and then we hugged, and I'm like, this is so fuck ass. And then that was when I first started giving him stickers, and I was like, "Look," and he's like, "A sticker," and I'm like, "Yes." Where should I put it? Because he was like dressed, and I'm like, "I'm gonna put it on my leg so everyone can see it." And I'm like, you can't just say stuff like that. Like, you just can't. And it was obvious that I liked him. Okay, um, I don't want to relive that too much. Flash forward to more recently, like 2 weeks ago, I was like, I was gonna do it because I think everyone has been tired of hearing me talk about Goose, and I'm tired of guessing every time he pulls back or every time he leans in, I'm like, I'm donezo. Like, I'm actually donezo. So, it was after track practice. I was like, to Goose's friend, I was like, oh my gosh, I need to talk to you about something. And she was like, is it about Goose? And I'm like, well, and that answered her question. So she was like, well, Goose is straight. And I'm like, and a friend of mine, let's call her Cookie. Cookie was like, ho, did you just twist the knife in my stomach? She was right beside. And I'm like, girl. And I just felt, I don't know if I felt, I didn't really feel, like, I tried to cry after, but I couldn't. I just felt like this kind of, like, emptiness. Because this whole time I've been, like, digging, making room for someone. And this whole time there was like, oh, this is nice, but they never step in. And so now I realize how empty the room is when I'm not there expecting someone to come in. So I was like, oh. And then she added, Goose knows that you like him. And I'm like, like, well, I was like, since when? And she was like, since today. That was like my third time giving him like a heart, um, shaped, like, consumable. And I'm like, oh, thank you. And then I'm like, thank you so much. She saved me so much time. I just had to keep. And then I asked her. I like bombarded her with questions. I'm like, does he hate me? Like, is he making me just play my game? And she says, no, Goose isn't that type. That's just Goose. And I'm like, well, if he knew I liked him this whole time, why didn't he say something? Why is he? He's like, because he's Goose. He doesn't want to hurt you because you're his friend. If you noticed, he like goes with you the same way he goes with me. So I'm like, not including the hugs, because the hugs is a bit too fuck ass, and of course they don't do hugs. But yeah, I was like, oh, it was like bittersweet. It was like, oh, so he recognizes me, at least as like maybe even best friend potential, but he knew. And Cookie was so pissed. She was like, this has been going on for too long, and this is so fuck ass, and he knew. And I'm like, yeah, but he's still a boy, and he's never dated anyone, and this is literally also like it's literally not, you know, like I'm trying to get mad, but I'm like, he's just a boy. He probably doesn't know what he's doing, and that's how it's always been. And she was like, no, this is so fuck ass. Like, he shouldn't be that stupid. Like, grow up, be a man. And I'm like, wait, you're right. He needs to grow up and be a man. So I try to ignore him for like 2 weeks. Doesn't work. I start feeling bad because if I ignore him, he just like suddenly becomes moody and feels and like ignores me back. So I'm like, what the fuck is the point of this? So, and that's just the whole thing. He's not an initiator, but he reciprocates it. Sometimes doubles down, but not consistently. So I'm like, I'm getting a headache. Okay, enough of that. Let's just go forward to the confession scene. I think it was like last week. No, it was like a couple days ago. The whole day I was like, this is so fuck ass. Like, I need to go and confess today. Music class was not it. I was like, when can I confess? And then ChatGPT was like, there is no right time to confess. You have to do it. And I'm like, okay, period. So it's lunchtime. I'm playing badminton. Yeah, sometimes Goose would come to watch me play. And I'm like, oh, you never did that before, but I guess he does now. And I was doing math because I procrastinated for a math test. And then Goose was like, no. Sorry, that was spoilers. I was like, I need to go find him. Goose comes from behind, and well, puts his head on my shoulder. Isn't that exciting? And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I quickly stand up and I'm like, I'm doing math. And his friends, a mutual friend, like laughs because she was like, that was aggressive. And I'm like, well, yes. I tug him by his shirt and then we go outside and I say every single thing and more that I'm saying. I'm like, yeah, I thought you were mysterious. Like, no, I was like, can I say something crazy? And he's like, and I'm like, no, no, like, not the lyrics, like, and I was like, I like you for a while now. Or like, if I confess, what would you say? And then he said, he looked at me confused and he was like, I don't feel the same way. And I'm like, why is that a question? But at that point, I was like, I was gonna say everything else I had to say. Anyways, so I'm like, yeah, like, the nothing, like, strike across you, like the heart shape, like, no friends do that. Or hug. No friend, and he knew I was like gay. Like, I've talked about my exes before being like guys. And so I was like, so did that not? And he was like, no. And but he was like smiling through the whole thing. Whenever I look back at him, because I was trying to avoid eye contact at all costs because I was so fucking, like, that was so different. I've never had anything like that. Well, not that intense, but he was just smiling. He was like, not like in a mocking way, but like, he was like trying to hide his smile. And I'm like, what the hell are you doing? But we, he says he was oblivious to all of it. And I'm like, are you stupid? Are you stupid? Or was I just stupid? Was I just stupid for thinking a straight boy wanted me back? So, yes, I say everything. And I'm like, thank you for the talk. He says, yeah, no problem. Anytime. I go back doing my math homework. I feel giddy because I'm like, I feel so free, so bouncy. I look behind me while Goose is still there. Hey, what are you doing here? I talked to a friend. She was like, these Rice Krispies from the cafeteria are so good. Like, you should get one. And I'm like, yeah, you're right, I should. Goose is like, yeah, we should get one. And I'm like, okay. Like, come with me, I guess. I thought he was gonna go the other way, but he drank water and he was like, no, stay, wait for me. I'm just drinking water. And I'm like, do you, like, do you want me to get over you or not? Like, but like, and then we go get it, and then we talk, and then I'm like, I was being dramatic. I'm like, so, like, what now? Like, what now? Like, what are we? Like, what are you even comfortable with? And he's like, what do you mean? And I'm like, well, what are you comfortable with? Because now that you know that, like, I like you. I've liked you. Like, hugs, handshakes. And he was like, yeah, I still want to be friends. And I'm like, okay, airball. And I was like, yeah. After all this time, I didn't know if you swung that way because you were always surrounded by girls and girls look comfortable around you. And he's like, I get that a lot. And I'm like, yeah, ho. So, no, at the end of the day, that's not his fault. I'm happy that girls are comfortable with him, but it's like, you kind of pissed me off because you didn't know, you literally did not see what I was trying to do this whole time. Like, yeah, I like made it obvious for 5 months. So like, fuck me. But after that, I was like, I guess this is goodbye. And he laughs and he's like, why would this be goodbye? And I'm like, well, because I'm like, well, because literally I'm saying goodbye to a past version of myself. So yeah. I'm like, hey. And then we hug. And the song is exactly like Conan Gray's new song. This song. Like, that's the song name. This song. That was a hug that felt like, Like, we were hugging, and then we were like teetering side to side, and it was just in the middle of the hallway in lunch, and it was just the most fuck ass thing ever. And his hands were on my back and my waist. My hands were on his shoulders, and I'm like, wow. And then Cindy saw us. You guys will meet Cindy soon. Cindy is a little Cindy Lou Who, and she was like, she stopped. She was like walking, and she was like, and then she stopped, and so we stopped and we looked at her side to side, and then she was like, oh no no no, keep going. And I'm like, Cindy, what the hell? We look at each other, we smile, and then we go our separate ways. And then, yeah, I was like, if that was a rejection, why did it not feel like one? Why did it feel like we were gonna get closer? Fast forward to now. It's been like a week or a couple days. No, like a week. Holy fucking airball. I don't know what I expected. I thought, maybe something would change. Maybe he'd come back. No. I don't know what I expected. I don't know why I expected him to change. But he didn't. I am the one that changed. Since then, I've just been... This whole thing felt like a slingshot. It felt like I was held back and was moving backwards. But you felt the tension. You felt the tension, and once you let go, I was slung forward. Somewhere far. But somewhere that wasn't where it was before. I knew things couldn't go back to normal, and it was so fuck ass. I was like planning, do I like become more flirty with him now because he doesn't like me back? So I know like nothing will work on him anyway, and I'm like a flirty person by nature. Like I'm a lover boy at heart if I was chasing this whole thing. But like, no, like I just ended up giving him the cold shoulder and ignoring him for my own sake. At first, for a bit, and still, I see him, girl, like literally I was working on a song with this one classmate, and he was just standing behind me. First, he was like playing the drums, like drums that were really close, and then he was like playing with the table, and then he was standing right behind me for like 10 minutes. He was just standing, and I'm like, if he's not gonna say anything, I'm not gonna say anything because I've had enough initiating. So I'm like, you know what? Okay. And then he bumped a water bottle, and then he felt bad and said sorry and left. And I'm like, okay, awesome. Like, fuck you. But, yes, I've just been, it's still there. He still orbits, he still makes eye contact, and he knows I'm making it back. But now I just look away. I don't wave back. I don't say hi. And I leave the room first. So that no more handshakes, no more any of that biz. I laugh because it's funny, not because I think he'll find it funny. So, well, yes, that is how it is right now. The whole thing is kind of fuck ass. Maybe I just imagined the whole thing. That's what I thought. But things bring me back and tell me, no, you did not imagine all of that. And the boy that you just loved and gave all this to was not ready for the kind of weight that you were about to give him. That's just how I saw it. And so, also at the end of the day, I can't hate him. Like, I really can't, because that is just his personality, and he's never dated before, so I don't know. I think I was hiding him to high regards, because the person I wanted, and the person that I saw in flickers, I was like, that is the prize. But that was not him. That was only a fragment of him that didn't show up consistently. So, like, what am I supposed to do with that? At the end of the day, I'm here now, and I'm just gonna lock in, and I'm gonna be so hot, and everyone's just gonna want me, and I'm gonna be nonchalant, And well, yes, I wanna go to sleep. Good night. Thank you.